Thank you for joining us on this edition of ClubCast. We are so thankful to be in an audience of our peers and the hardest working people in St. Lucie County. Thank you for being here. Today,
there's really an audience, Will.
there's an audience. People thought probably we were joking just now, right? I do that once in a while. But today, we get to celebrate you, and we get to celebrate a couple of other employees that's been with us a very long time. But you're in the hot seat today. And we have decided that there will be no crying on stage. So you're not going to see that. Or we're going to attempt to not make that happen. But what we are going to do is we're going to talk about just some of those really defining moments with Boys and Girls Clubs and the impact from your perspective that you have had in this community.
Sounds exciting. There's no crying on ClubCast. There's no crying in baseball.
I mean, I think the first couple of minutes, no crying, but then after that, it's whatever you want to do.
Okay.
All right, let me help you out real quick. So I remember when you first started with Boys and Girls Clubs 14 years ago, and just graduated college, and you were eager to, I'm going to say volunteer first, then to get into the workforce with Boys and Girls Clubs. So take a couple minutes and talk about the volunteer service piece.
So when I moved to Fort Pierce from Tampa, my first involvement was with the Young Professionals group, and our first service project that we did was at an amazing club called Infinity. We had the opportunity to paint the club and to work with the teens that were there, along with Mr. Todd, and I think Mr. London was there, and probably Miss Megan. We were trying to beautify the facility, and I didn't realize at the time what the real purpose of that was, other than, you know, we want to make this a more beautiful atmosphere. But as the day progressed, what I really learned was the fact that the staff there wanted to create a world-class club. And what that meant to them was an inviting environment, so that teens at that time that had the option to either choose to go down the street that day and be with their gang, or they could choose to come in and feel invited into our Boys and Girls Club and feel a part of that instead. And so I learned that day, even growing up in St. Lucie County, that gangs did exist, that teens were in need of a place that provided hope and opportunity. And I was hooked. And so I enjoyed my day volunteering. I met some of the amazing teens there. And a couple weeks later, I got a call from the Boys and Girls Club. They had learned that I was looking for opportunity to work. And so I remember interviewing with Norm Penner at the time, who was our CEO, and with Doug Farrell, who was one of our board members. And they asked me all the questions. And one of the questions I asked them, I said, with my marketing and communications background, what can I do to help kids learn about Boys and Girls Club and help the community connect with the need that's here and how Boys and Girls Club fills that gap? And now, 14 years later, I really reflected on the fact that I've had the privilege working with an amazing team to be able to do that, because we're not the best kept secret. Teens know we exist, children know we exist, parents know we exist, and so I felt like I've done my part.
That's awesome. And I was reflecting on, you know, I was a board member for 8 years, as well as being a CEO today. But I was thinking, because we could take hours and hours to go through every year, but you rose to the position of Chief Operating Officer. And I remember talking to some board members and saying to them, you know who I think would be the best Chief Operating Officer in Boys and Girls Clubs? And they're like, who? And I'm like, no, do you know who I think would be the best Chief Operating Officer? And I said, Melanie. And it was like, but does she have experience? And I said, yep, she has some experience, but more important, she had passion and she had heart for the kids. And when you have passion, you can be anything you want in this world. So I've been super impressed with your work and what you've done for Boys and Girls Clubs and for thousands and thousands of kids throughout the community. And your legacy in this community will last a lifetime. And everyone don't get to say that in their lifetime, especially when they have worked as long as you have in this position. They usually have to have been around 25, 30 years. But having 14 years, having been in a couple of positions, and ending it for now, you're gonna last a long time. So I wanna put this on the record, and here it goes. I have a prediction that when I lead Boys and Girls Clubs of St. Lucie County as its Chief Executive Officer, Melanie is gonna be the first person I call back to take over that position as Chief Executive Officer, and I could put that as my prediction. At least that's what I'm gonna do. And if those that don't believe me, stick around and see what happens. So I know I have a script, and you know I never keep to the script, so I have no idea what the script says because it's in my jacket. But I know that you have a large team out here of folks that you've watched and developed and grown. You ended up with several vice presidents that their budgets went from maybe $500,000 and couple million to 7 million, and it's still climbing. You went from a couple hundred to 800 to 900 to 4,600 to serving 8,000 kids to where we've touched up to 14,000 kids last year. So a lot has been accomplished in your career. So thank you for that. I think what you and I are gonna do is we're gonna present some awards for some very deserving people, and we're gonna bring them up to stage. I don't know if this is appropriate, but I would like to stand up with Melanie, if that's okay. The first person I want to give this award to, I'm gonna say she's retiring, and she's been around a long time. She's been with us 6.5 years and have done some amazing things. And the one thing about this individual, whether if you know it or not, I received a lot of counseling from her. It used to be twice a week, 3 times a week, but because of all the growth that we have experienced, I get to do it once a week or once every 2 weeks. I get to sit in my little chair and just kind of bounce stuff off of this young lady. So I'm very happy to present this award to Miss Beulah. And before I do that, and hopefully I don't embarrass Miss Beulah, you can stand right here. I think it's important to note, you know, the what do you call it? The words adoption, it used to be something that we kept a secret. But here's the one thing that I know, is that in our organization, adoption is a big thing and a beautiful thing. And I want to thank you for taking on these 2 beautiful young ladies, because they're going to grow because of you. And I'm going to ask you to take that camera for her and just keep the focus on us. And then I want you 2 ladies to come up here with your mom.
I know you said no crying, but I'm sorry. I'm very emotional, and I cry off a drop of a hat. My girls will tell you, if somebody give me something, I cry. Somebody say a kind word, I cry. I'm just an emotional person. But first, I want to thank God, because He is the head of our life. And I know God sent me to the Boys and Girls Club. There's no other way I could have got there other than through Him. And Mr. Will has been my rock. He told me I'm his rock. He been my rock. And the first time I met him, I didn't even know who he was. But he showed so much grace, so much respect. Because the first thing he asked, can I pray? I said, only if we can pray together. So we joined hands and we prayed together, and we've been united with one another ever since. I have met some of the most beautiful, wonderful human beings that anybody can ask for. In my 6 years at the Boys and Girls Club, I've been privileged to work beside, not under, but beside 6 club directors. And each one of them left me with something that helped me to grow and become the person I am. I'm not only the adopted mother of these beautiful young ladies, I'm the adopted mother of a 30-year-old. I'm the grandmother of 2 beautiful grandchildren, and I think I have one of the most wonderful son-in-laws any mother could ask for. Matter of fact, I said to my daughter some time ago, I can die in peace now, because I know you got somebody that's going to stand with you. In this life, you must have a heart of love. Without a heart of love, you're not going to make it in this world. And each one of you have contributed a heart of love to me. And I will take that with me throughout my daily life. And I want to say to Mr. Tommy, who really touched my heart just last week, we was in a conversation with another staff, building them up, and he said, I know Miss Beulah is my friend. Now that's something to know, that somebody know you are their friend. I know I can call on her if I need her. And that goes for anybody. Just because I'm not there physically, I will always be there spiritually. So if you need me, call on me. And all the wonderful young people that I've met throughout my 6 years, the wonderful parents that know without a doubt that they can call me, and if I got an answer, I'll give it. If I don't have the answer, I'll find the answer. So I want to say to each one of y'all, continue to do the work that you're doing, because there are so many people, not just children, adults, that really need what you have to give. So don't hesitate to hug somebody just because of the virus, because if you're going to get it, you're going to get it, because it's in the air. So don't hesitate to hug. Don't hesitate to say I love you. And don't hesitate, wear a smile. That's one thing every stranger, everybody that walked in the door, when they left, they always said, you got such a beautiful smile. And it came from my heart. So I want to thank y'all very much.
You're doing a picture? We're gonna take a picture. We're gonna take a picture. All right, thank you. All right. Then this next person, she just had to deal with my nonsense when I got here, because I was on fire. I love kids. I love developing people. But this person had to just deal with everything that I had to say. That's really the bottom line. I want to bring Mash up, because I can talk to Mash on stage. That's because you ain't at the club. Well, I just want to tell you, thank you so much for really dealing with a businessman coming in and with a whole different type of attitude. And you did it gracefully. And there was a lot going on. We were at a place in the organization where we just had to make decisions. And even with those decisions, you came to work with a smile on your face every day. You never complained. And because of you, as well as Miss Beulah, that's why we're able to do what we're doing today. Because you were consistent and you made it work for all of us. And everyone loves MASH.
She's the mama.
And the last thing before you speak, I had the opportunity and privilege to work with your 2 kids who really were rock stars in the business. And, you know, they were very consistent. But the one thing that I could go home every day, I was like, those are definitely her children. So thank you for your service and all that you did, and enjoy your retirement.
I miss everybody. I miss you too.
Thank you. I needed to hear that.
But Melanie is my other daughter. She just have a different mom. I started with the Boys and Girls Club through my kids. A friend of mine asked me would I take my kids to the Boys and Girls Club, and I immediately said no. And she said, but they need to be around the other kids. And I said, okay, I'll make a visit to the club. I did. I fell in love with Tommy Gibson. Some of you might still remember him. And my kids loved it. So from that day forward, I was part of Boys and Girls Club. When I retired from Bell South, they couldn't stand me being home. So my kids thought of reasons for me to come to the club, which was Infinity, to do work. Well, we need you to do this, we need you to do that. So I ended up being a volunteer. Then an opening came through in the main office, which was supposed to have been part-time, and I did accept it. And one day, Norm Penner came to me and he said, okay, as of Monday, you will be full-time. So I said, you telling me? You're not asking me? He said, yeah, I'm telling you, Monday, you're full-time. So 11 years I was with the Boys and Girls Club. I loved everybody. I loved my job. And I loved Melanie. Will wasn't my boss at that time. He came later. But I miss everybody. And I always speak as if I'm still working for Boys and Girls Club. And I feel like sometime I am, because I still get phone calls pertaining to the clubhouse. And I speak very highly of the Boys and Girls Club. I mean,
You guys want to say something?
Is now the time? Am I talking now? Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I was asked to speak, but I was then told I had 5 minutes, and I don't follow the rules. So with that being the case, I'll try to keep it quick. Hey, everybody. Congratulations, Ms. Beulah. Congratulations, of course, Melanie and Mash. I did write something down. I hope you guys can bear with me, because, you know, that's just who I am. For those who don't know, I am Littles-Reeves. I currently am the Director of Alumni Development for Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Proud club kid since 1996. Yes. So I just want to say a few words about Melanie first. When Melanie mentioned that she came to the club and did like a tour because of the Young Professionals group, I was there and I remember that day very well. Melanie strutted through that club in a white pantsuit with a black tank top with her long black hair. And I was like, who is this glamazon? Like, who is she? What is she doing here? I think she came in with Mr. Tommy Gibson at the time. And I was like, she doesn't know it, but we're going to be friends. And so her group came in and they painted the club, the performing arts room like she mentioned, and they cleaned up the club on the outside, and they found some things in the bushes. Yeah. And which is when Melanie and her group found out that we really are on 23rd Street. And these kids have to deal with a lot of things, these kids and these families. But what I love most about Melanie is that she's a believer, and I mean a believer in what's possible, right? My first time actually getting to work with Melanie was at an event at Met Stadium. We were working like a booth, like a info booth for the club, and then I had the teens there running like activities and games for the people who were coming out to it. And we just got a chance to talk, and she shared her experience with in the hospitality industry with Outback and things. And I was like, yeah, we're gonna make some things happen in this organization. She's gonna be able to get me what I need at ITC at the time. And you know, between just the electronics and the YY scholarships, the Kikis and the pancake breakfasts at IHOP with Xavier and her. But then we spent a lot of time getting to know each other during our stint with the Advanced Leadership Program, and we were traveling back and forth to Atlanta a few times. And just some funny stories with that, just to make Melanie laugh. Rides on the MARTA. The rebirth, of course, of Steak and Steak, when you shared that you were bringing that back, and it's been an amazing event ever since. 360 feedbacks. doing Who's the Weakest Link, and then the egg dropped without breaking the egg, and I don't even know how that worked. We got caught in the rain outside of Chick-fil-A and had a flight to catch back. We were just always huddled up under the umbrella. What was it, me, Norm, you, and Nate. And then there was a time where I was ready to move on from Infinity and do something different. And I applied to work up under Melanie as her marketing specialist. And she rejected me, y'all. She called me and said, baby, not you. Just kidding, but she was, of course, even so gracious. And when she called me and let me know they were going with Jinjak, who I love also, she just told me that there would be something better coming for me. And she was right. You know, like a year or so later, the Chuck Hill opportunity came about, and she was on my interview panel. And I remember I casted my vision for that, and Melanie received it and was able to help me get what I wanted. Within the first few years, she showed me and taught me how to write grants, where we got like over 20,000 in grants for like electronics and do like this epic college tour. And then even to when there was an opportunity to apply to really do a facelift to the club, I was told by my manager at the time not to apply. And of course, the rebel that I am, still did. And took it to Melanie to show it to her. She said, it looks good. We submitted, and then, 2 months later, we got the grant. So, you know, I learned so much from you, Mel. What else did you teach? Oh, one more thing about Mel, too. Sorry if I'm taking too long. I told you I don't follow the rules. Melanie makes this peanut butter ice cream with Oreo crust pie, and if you've never had it, you're missing out. I took DARE in 5th grade and also participated in the prevention programs at the club, so I don't really know or have interest in trying crack, but that pie, I would imagine, is like crack, and I'm a fiend for it. I'm sorry I said that during the ClubCast, but I have to speak my truth. So nonetheless, to my esteemed colleague and friend Mel, who may not have grown up in the clubs, making her an alum, of course, and a proud club kid like myself and my sister, she's certainly an friend and has the same grit and determination that many products of the club have. And Melanie, your efforts over the past decade will be felt for decades to come. And some will call it leaving your mark, and I call it leaving a legacy. So Melanie, you truly are a living legend. So thank you for everything you've done for St. Lucie County. Now, I have to speak to this beautiful, phenomenal, dynamic woman over here that I happen to get to call my mom. The GOAT is what I would say. It was in 1996 when she made the decision to welcome BGC into our lives and forever change the trajectory of all of our lives, myself, my sister, and her own. Surely when she signed us up, she couldn't have imagined that now, 25 years later, we'd still be involved with this organization. And nor did she ever think that Denzel Washington would give her a shout out from the blue carpet at a national event. She's one of the very few people that I know to have retired twice now in her life, 30 plus years with Bell South and 10 plus years now with BGC. And like she mentioned, she started off volunteering during the summer at Infinity because she just wanted to help us out, me and my sister. There was a lot of kids and limited staff. She was answering phones, inputting membership applications, distributing summer lunch, and even making lily dillies for the kids. Then the part-time position opened up, and Jennifer Papadopoulos poached her from us and stole her. But you know, it worked out for the full organization. She's held numerous titles over the past decade, from front desk admin, compliance director, director of first impressions, HR assistant. And though I do find Director of First Impressions to be pretty impressive, that's a pretty impressive title. We get to know and love her as Mom, and I know most of you all may have started calling her Mashell or Miss Mashell, but we made the grave mistake of calling her Mash one time in front of Jennifer Jock at the office, and Mash spread like wildfire to you all. And so, you know, I just want to simply say, Mash, that, you know, though I'm a proud club kid since '96, I am the most proud to be the product of the phenomenal woman that you are. For me, you will always be the greatest of all time. And thank you for always showing up. And thank you for always making the sacrifices that you've made, both known and unknown. And thank you for your patience. Thank you for your love. And thank you, Mama Mash, the GOAT. Congratulations, your work here is done. But the fun doesn't end, because I have another surprise for you. She didn't know this was a retirement thing first, so that's surprise number 2. Surprise number 3 is we're gonna go to Vegas, and it's on me.
Thank you, guys. Bodyguard or whatever you need. Thank you. Thank you. That was a great tribute. Thank you so much, London. And then as we, I'm not gonna say close out, because I already told you guys what's gonna happen when my time is up. When my time is up, who's gonna be the CEO? Melanie! All right. I only heard like 3 people say that. When my time is up, who's going to be the CEO? All right, great. Now that we got that all knocked out the way, this is going to be on live camera, so that's good. But I didn't put this together. You know, your phenomenal team put this together of pictures and events and things that we have done over the years. And obviously, they have the names. And the biggest one that stands out for me is friendly, a leader, a counselor, supportive, and committed. So thank you for all of your work with Boys and Girls Clubs. We appreciate you, and I know you're not that far away.
Thank
So
you.
thank you.
This is beautiful.
Let's get one picture.
Will knows, well, most of you know, I'm not big on accolades and plaques, so it means a lot to me to be able to see all your beautiful faces on that board, so I appreciate it.
So that ends our ClubCast. Thank you all for joining us. Every month we have ClubCast, and a lot of times what we do is we bring professionals, we bring business people, we bring a lot of people to come and join us so that not only get supporters, but make sure people are aware of what we do for Boys and Girls Clubs. Here's my commitment to Boys and Girls Club staff. And you guys are probably gonna have to help me with this. Into next year, we're gonna start inviting some of you to be a part of ClubCast and kind of bring your ideas, let people know who you are. And I think that's gonna be fun for you, but it's gonna be fun for the community to see who's really taking care of their kids and teens in the community. So I look forward to us doing this again. Thank you.